Hi, everybody. As salon owners and managers, we all experience some level of difficulty in recruiting talent and keeping our existing team happy and motivated. But when it comes to coaching an employee or looking for the perfect recruit to complement your existing team, it's best to talk with the experts who have mastered the art of building an amazing salon culture. My name is Obiedzinski, the Director of Sales and Business Development for Rosy Salon Software, and I'm joined today by Jenny and Mike Carricato of Jenny's Salon in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and Jim Roberts of J. Roberts Salon in Roanoke, Virginia. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Hello. So can you just tell us a little bit about your salon? And Jenny, do you want to get us started?
Oh my gosh, of course. We have a salon in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. We started in 2011. I started by myself, recruited Mike here shortly after. It's a commission-based salon, and we started with six chairs. And then fast forward, we rented, and then we were able to buy the building and expand pretty big. We added about 3,500 square feet. 3,500 square feet. Now we have about 28 chairs and 50 employees. So yeah,
that's a huge accomplishment to buy your building and that much growth.
Oh, that was huge. It was huge. It doesn't happen as fast as you think. Like it took a lot of time, a lot of people. The community definitely came together.
Well, actually, we have you to thank for that too, because and if there's salon owners watching and you're renting your current building, make sure in your lease you get something called first right of refusal.
Yes.
Because we rented for our first 5 years, and then our landlord accepted an offer from someone to buy the building. And then lucky our Jenny had first right of refusal, which I didn't even know anything about, but that was in our lease. So we had the opportunity to match that offer, which we did. Otherwise, we would have been booted out on the street looking for a new building.
Yes, I'm a contract girl. I love a good contract. So I definitely knew, I have actually a paralegal background before I did hair, and knew exactly what I was doing at that point. And, thought, I'm just going to put this in there. And thank goodness I did.
Yeah, good for you. Good tip to share. Thank you. Jim, what about for you?
Sure. So as you mentioned, our salon, J. Roberts Salon, is located in Roanoke, Virginia. I have to give credit also to my wife. I consider us a power hair couple, if you will. We both own and operate the salon. We have a combined experience of, over, I guess together, over 40 years in the industry. And the thing that I think makes us unique is we dedicated about 30 of those 40 years to education. So we work for a major products company traveling around the world, and we motivated a lot of stylists that were on our educational team. But when it comes to running a salon, it's a whole different animal. So we've tried to make some changes, make some shifts, and motivate people in the salon, just like we did in our education teams, traveling and doing hair shows.
And you're a commission-based salon?
Yes, we are a commission-based salon, moving into kind of a new twist on commission with a new salon that we're opening hopefully in June, which will be a hybrid of commission as well as independent studios.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what do you guys think? Is there truly a shortage in available talent these days?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And at what level?
I mean, I think not even in our industry, and all the industries around us, especially in our community, we see everyone coming in talking about how hard it is to find, especially skilled labor. I mean, even for ourselves with expansion, trying to find, or, we just try to get new front desk, and it took 6 months to find someone good, because you want someone well to commission them for us. But yeah, definitely in our industry. I mean, it's not a secret. It is, everyone is talking about it. So yes.
Right. I don't know of any salons who are not hiring. I mean, I drive by 3 or 4 salons on my way to work, and the same sign has been out for year after year, now hiring.
Yeah.
And you just said 6 months to find front desk receptionists, right? So it's not just service providers.
That was actually the construction of our new
The
desk.
construction. So I was trying to get someone to build them. I'm sorry to make that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, but going right into that, yes, it's not only just the stylist, it's front desk, it's support staff as well.
Jim, what about for you?
A shortage of stylists. I think the stylists are out there. I think there may be a shortage of experienced stylists that are willing to make some shifts and moves because they're pretty stable. But I think there's stylists out there. It's just depending on what type of energy and focus you're wanting to put into training those stylists to be the stylists you need them to be in your salon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to staff, what are some of the top pain points that you have, or maybe you're seeing other salons having right now?
I think, and maybe this is COVID related a little bit, but just in general, the interest of working a fuller week, it seems like post COVID, everyone was home for 3 months during COVID. And I think they really enjoyed that time and wanted more of it. So post COVID, it is, I think, like an average 3-day a week, 3.5 days a week is pretty standard. They want to be home with their families, and good for them. We support that. Always have.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see, and it's typically the older generations are used to working more of a 35, 40, 50, 60-hour week, whereas the 20s and 30s, they like a little bit more time off and flexibility.
But I even think there's a shift like in our country. Like I feel like as Americans, we are known not to take off a lot of vacation, and I feel like there is a shift nationwide that we are kind of changing like how we think and where we put our time. And so it's just it's not industry wide, it's worldwide, or definitely in our country. We're definitely, and I'm not upset about it. So good mental, physical health, and
Yes.
happy employees make happy clients.
So learning how to be flexible with your team members, whether they're a younger generation or older generation, so it may not just be the same for everybody.
You said the magic word, flexibility.
Right. It has come to the forefront lately, Lori, but like for Jenny, I feel like she was a pioneer in this. In our over 10 years in being open, we've never denied a request off.
Never.
And that goes from stylist to front desk to assistant. Anyone who wants a day off, no problem. You got it. You work what you want to work. They're all different. They all have different needs, different levels of work they can handle while maintaining that good home life work balance.
So what do you think are some of the top things that service providers and stylists are looking for in a salon right now? And how can salons accommodate what they're looking for?
Every stylist will tell you that they're looking for education. I find that young stylists coming out of school are looking for systems. They're looking for not only motivation, but they want to have some guidance. There's many unanswered questions, and I think that creates a little bit of fear and animosity. Even though the young or the new stylists, they're really good at covering that up because they're just so dynamic and just very good at that. But it's easy to remember what it was like when we started doing hair ourselves. And if you think about those fears that you had, those are probably still the fears that a current stylist today has. So I think they want motivation. They want systems in place. They want to know that there's room for growth. And the newer generation of stylists, they want flexibility too. But I think they want to be a part of a team and something that's bigger than what they are.
So what are some of the best practices you guys have when it comes to recruiting talent for your salon?
It's funny you said that. This week, I actually took a poll of my own staff, and I was like, "Remind me, how did you find us?
Why are you here?
Why are you here? Did you find me? Was it on? You can go on Indeed. We have ads on Indeed. Remember Craigslist back in the day? Yeah. So, and it's actually when I got to see where we were. So we're not. I can't speak for other salons, but I can tell you exactly how we work. But our number one way of getting stylists was referred by a friend. They heard that this girl has a salon and you would love her and she would probably be a great fit. Why don't you call her? Number one way. So we have about 50 employees, and out of the 50, I want to say 12 were about referred from a friend.
Mhm.
And then the second was stylist referred. So another stylist was like, hey, you should come work with me. And then the third way was a Google or internet search.
And that was more for stylists who kind of recently moved to the area and didn't have a
Yes.
connection.
And then the fourth way was school. Like I find them right out of school. And then after that, I found one at a family reunion,
Mhm.
like,
Those
like
one-offs.
yeah, I met a stylist there. But really it's crazy. Like I see everybody trying for new stylists and they're putting all these ads out, and it for us it doesn't work. It's definitely the old school word of mouth, and remember, I still think they teach this back in the day, like when you're trying to build your book with clients that you love, you go and tell your clients like, hey, I'm looking for a couple more clients just like you, and they bring them to you. It's kind of
Mhm.
just the same for stylists. Like, I'm always talking about it. I'm always, everywhere I go, if I get invited to a Tupperware party, I'm like, hey, do you know any, I love your hair, if you know any stylists, just let me know. I just plant that seed everywhere I go, all the time. And it's been our number one way.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then also, once in a while you have a stylist that might not be happy in their current work environment. And we are pretty adamant about not poaching from other salons. But if they
No,
certainly reach out, we will talk to
of
them in
course.
confidentiality and tell them what we have to offer.
Yeah.
That's great. It speaks a lot about your culture when your own team is referring or recommending new stylists to come in, right? Do you guys offer a incentive bonus for them of any sort to bring or refer a stylist in?
Yes,
Yes, we
we
do.
do. And I used to think, that uh, word of mouth referral is an inexpensive way of advertising. But no, we give a pretty healthy bonus to our stylists. So they're always incentivized to send their friends to us, their stylist friends. Or even, recently we hired two new front desk receptionists, and they were referred by stylists to us, and they've worked out great. So
But you know what? That bonus that we give them, they don't even, that's not why they're doing it.
they aren't.
They're not
It's nice.
It's nice and a nice thank you, and they're like, oh, yay, look at me. But they want to create their culture that
That's
they
right.
work in. I mean, some of them, I laugh. I say, don't you have any friends? And they're like, you don't want my friends here. I'm like, oh, okay. But others, like they do pick and
Yeah,
choose.
and it's a nice environment to be able to, you kind of pick your coworkers essentially.
Mhm.
And we have a pretty good handle on who's going to fit our environment. And we're not all one dimensional. I mean, we have a little bit of everything, and we're very accepting of different personalities. So, but there is a nice cash bonus for them. Yes.
That's great. Jim, what makes a good coach in the salon? And what qualities do you think that coach or leader should have?
Sure. I think a good coach is someone who gets just as excited about the success of a team or an individual as they do themselves. Um, this business, me being in this business for 32 years, it's very easy to, as an owner, to want to be the highest performer or to want to do the best hair. But I think it's really easy to get lost in that. But a good coach is someone who I think likes to see others excel, and when you think about a team, to be able to reproduce or recreate what you do yourself in 10 other people is much better for the performance of the business. So I tell myself sometimes to get my head out of the sand and to pay attention what's going on around me instead of in the chair in front of me. And I think that really helps to be a better leader when you do pay attention to working on the business instead of in the business. And it's hard sometimes because you don't want to be that hairstylist that your team passes you up, but really do you? Because I think that's the goal to growing as a team.
Mhm. So then what do you think makes an effective coach?
Uh, I think to be an effective coach, you have to most of all listen to your team. Be willing to listen to the things that sometimes you don't want to hear. Those are the hardest things to hear, I think. But I think if you're going to grow people, you have to be ready to listen to the things that they want and be flexible. You still have to have, a business mindset, and you have to have guidelines and, rules in your salon, especially if you want to be profitable. But I think it's real important to be flexible and to listen to what the needs of your staff are.
Mhm. So, what do you think would cause a coach or a leader or manager to fail?
Hmm. I think kind of going back to that first point, staying a little too focused on the salon instead of maybe working on clients too much instead of working on the growth and the focus of your business. Not thinking about the salon guest experience, I think, is a real big miss sometimes. I like to put myself in the salon guest shoes to feel what it is that a guest experiences when they come into our salon. It's more than a haircut. Anybody can do a haircut, but it's like, what's going to get them back? What's going to keep them coming back? And sometimes I think the guest experience that you provide is the difference of why a stylist would even stay with you versus going independent. If you really think about it, that's what they're trying to emulate. If they leave you, they're going to try to do all the great things you did in your salon, right? So that guest experience is so important, and it's real important to keep an eye on that as a leader.
What kind of advice do you have for keeping really good communication with your team?
We have regular staff meetings. Our staff meetings usually run once a quarter, unless something exciting happens that we need to speak about. We also do one-on-one meetings, and those meetings can sometimes be if there's a challenge in the salon, but they also can be when you see something good happen. So I think the better communication you have, the better you're able to handle challenges, obstacles, as well as give those rewards and those pats on the back. Some people really like the praise more. Some people just like to see that you acknowledge it. So I think you almost have to find what type of encouragement people like and focus on those things.
Do you guys have any final advice for how to recruit, coach, or keep the best team members in your salons?
My advice is look at what you've been doing. If it doesn't work, stop.
Right.
Like, stop. Like, it's so crazy. Like, they're like, Jenny, I keep putting my ad on Facebook and I'm not getting any hits. Well, let's pivot, right? And make a shift and poll your team, see what works, and then go that way. These salon coaches, God love you. I love all of you and think it's amazing what you're doing. But I really think it needs to be individualized and to the salon owner and to their culture and what they're looking for. But I think the number one advice is put yourself out there. Keep talking about it. Keep letting people know it's not a secret. We're all looking for great employees. Put it out in the universe and it's going to come back to you tenfold.
Jim, what about for you?
So I think you have to develop a system. When we got involved with the schools, I'm actually on the advisory board for the school as well. So I really communicate with them what the salons are looking for. And I think they implement that into their training process. But I think it's real important to get involved with the school. And that may mean taking some personal time and going in and talking to some students. It may be going in and doing a haircutting demonstration. So you have to give to get. But in order to connect with a school, that'll pay you back so many times. And you may get talent that you don't want to hire. That's okay though, because it's just this cycle of new talent coming to interview at your salon all the time. And if you take a couple of those students from the school and you show success, it's tenfold. People want to follow in the same steps as their colleagues. So get involved with the school, number one. Probably number two, and this comes from my background of being an education director. If you're going to have education, follow through with it. Don't just say we have education, because education is not having a person stand by you and wash your color bowls. Education is setting aside time to do training that the person needs, not necessarily on the latest trends, but that training may be on a basic foiling technique. It may be on the proper way to do a consultation. So focus and pinpoint your trainings on exactly what that stylist needs versus what you think you want to train on, right? And it may be one-on-one training. I think that's real important, because there's so many salons that say they offer education and say they offer training, but they don't really follow through. They're capable, but it's hard. It's not easy. It's one of the hardest things. And then probably the last, if you're a commission salon, is make sure that you have a handbook. Make sure that you have some guidelines in place. Try to create the win-win situation. You know, it's really hard sometimes to explain the win-win situation to a stylist right out of school, because they have nothing to compare it to. I run into that often. We can talk about that a little bit if you want to, but I think those are probably the three most important things, is the recruitment, the education, the follow through, and make sure that you have a handbook to uphold, you know, as far as what you give and what you get.
I love it. This has all been so much wonderful, wonderful information. So thank you so much for providing all of this tips and tricks and wisdom on recruiting, coaching, and keeping the best talent in your salon. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having us.